there, boy. What day is this?
Christmas Eve, sir.
Hanukkah is the festival of lights. One day of presents, hell no. We get the 8 crazy nights.
Come now, sing with me, Papa Crimbo.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Merry Christmas, good evening, good morning. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. The world of Doctor Who, I think, doing quite well. Quite frankly, I tell you, I just watched The Church on Ruby Road. I watched half of Unleashed. I watched the other half tomorrow. To me, it seemed like Doctor Who, right? It seemed actually like quite good Doctor Who. I'm intrigued to see what the reaction is going to be. It's different in a lot of ways, but you know, I think it's different in the same way that Tom Baker's era was different from Patrick Troughton, right? It didn't feel painfully woke for me. It felt very authentically Doctor Who, right? It really did. We'll be going into it in much more detail. So I'm not sure if I'm going to stream tomorrow or I'm going to stream or wait till no, tomorrow's Tuesday, right? Yeah, I think I probably will stream tomorrow. Do a Boxing Day stream and do a like deep dive. We'll do it with like lots of screen grabs. I thought Ncuti Gatwa had just tons and tons of authority as a doctor. Convinced me he was a doctor throughout. There were the bits that I were nervous about weren't in any way as bad as I thought they would be. Like for me, you could go from Capaldi to this and without blinking, right? And it seems to be the same character, right? The essence of the Doctor has to be an anti-authoritarian authority, which is what I think Ncuti Gatwa is, right? And that's really what makes all good Doctors an anti-authoritarian authority. Look at Tom Baker, anti-authoritarian authority, right? All of them: Patrick Troughton, William Hartnell, John Pertwee. I think Peter Davis, even though he's a little bit less, bit more muted. Colin Baker, yes, absolutely, an anti-authoritarian authority. Same with Sylvester McCoy, same with Paul McGann, although Paul McGann was a bit of a pastiche on the Doctor. Then he had Christopher Eccleston, who was more like Shameless meets Doctor Who. Still anti-authoritarian, right? Wasn't happy to go along with the masses. David Tennant, Matt Smith. Yeah, so this fits into that mold, right? Capaldi absolutely fits into the mold. It's very, very modern. I don't know what I don't know what Billy Gibbs was talking about. There weren't lots of controversial elements. There was one, right? And it wasn't really controversial, right? There were two, I would say, controversial elements in it, and they weren't that controversial in the end, right? If you're watching it, if you're trying to drown out the noise of culture war and just take it on its face value, solid, good Doctor Who, good opener. For a Doctor, probably one of the better ones. Well, you're going to see my thought process live online, right, as we go through it tonight. But yeah, no, good Doctor. Millie Gibson, really good as a companion, and not just because she looks freaking gorgeous, but no, you know, she's got that same quality of like with Ncuti Gatwa, like this is my best friend, which is how Liz Sladen described it. And you do get a fourth Doctor Sarah Jane vibe from them. You really do, right? Or Joe Grant, third Doctor, right? I mean, of the post 2005 Doctor Who's, I think this is probably the most authentically, traditionally classic. I think because there's no sexual element in it, which was really helpful. So you had that with. Well, Eccleston didn't really know how he was playing it until he got to the end of a run. Then you got David Tennant. And the whole like romance with Rose, I don't think really ever worked that well. Matt Smith was unaware that he was kind of hot. And Peter Capaldi, it was just not on his radar, right? Which was better for it, but it was saddled mostly with Clara, who kind of ran out of steam. Last Christmas should have been her last episode. Oh, I've said that so many times this Christmas. I watched it the other day. And then Bill Potts couldn't help but talk about she was gay every 20 minutes. So there wasn't a sexual chemistry thing, which was really good, right? But she just seemed like she seemed better suited to the role than Billie Piper was in Rose, and that I think that's a high bar. I think she did really well. But again, their companionship is really good. The story was light, fluffy, a bit silly. They don't explain they explain a little bit the science of the goblins, right? But this era is one that leans much more into time being mutable, right? They mentioned Mavity again, right? Mavity was the in the silly Isaac Newton scene, with the was it Asian Isaac Newton, whatever it was called. It's they renamed Gravity Mavity. So I don't know, is that there for a dramatic reason? Is it there for a legal reason to separate this universe from previous Doctor Who universe? Oh, I know, Ncuti Gatwa filled the shoes of the Doctor in this one for me. I mean, it really did, right? Absolutely, really did. Fine. Let's talk about the episode, right? So again, I didn't take notes. I don't. This is my initial impressions. I wasn't going into it as open-minded as I wanted to be, because like everything's been really bad. I'm sorry, the whole 6th anniversary, complete dud, right? It was a complete dud, and there's so much obnoxious wokeness, and by that I mean screaming at me that men who not men, people with penises who believe themselves to be women have a valid identity, right? And look, we'll take a quick sidestep to discuss the transition, because trans is going to be a thing, as it was in this episode. So listen. I've said this many times now. If Rusty Davis or his ilk want to have a national conversation about being trans, I think I'm all for that. I think it's something that we actually do need, and there are some serious questions we need to answer, right? Like, what do we do with women's spaces? When I say women's spaces, women without penises, right? What do we do about women's sports? And these are real questions, right? Equally, what do we do with the vast majority of the population who don't believe people with penises are women, right? So, like, if you want to have this conversation, that's good, but you kind of dogmatically tell us that people with penises are women. Anybody who thinks not is a bigot. Well, that's not true. I think here's the thing: Rusty Davis is very much of the opinion that the reason people are pushing back against drag and trans is because they do not expose enough of them. Russell, mate. There's no community has ever been this overexposed. It's ridiculous. Yes, no, we're all very exposed. And here's the thing: the trans world does better when it's less exposed, right? Because when it is exposed, it's a bit pervy. I hate to tell you, like the whole drag thing, a bit pervy, right? Especially when you need to do it with kids, it's a bit pervy, right? It's honestly, it's like war or eating meat. Everybody likes a good steak. Nobody likes going to an abattoir and seeing the reality behind that, right? Like war, like the reality of war is a disgusting, terrible thing. That's why the Hamas keeps transmitting images of war from Gaza and say, look how awful the Jews are. No, that's what war looks like, right? That's what war looks like. And this is and so if you want to get people on board for war, right, or on board for abortion or eating meat, you've got to insulate them from the realities of it. I think being trans is also like that, because I think being trans is a kink, right? I think part of that kink is being seen as that identity. So so for me, I don't like it in the presence of children. I think it's very inappropriate, because I think you're enacting your sexual kink. But hey, this is the conversation. If you want to have this conversation, I'm up for having this conversation, right? Honest, without prejudice. That's the conversation. I don't think they're up for having this conversation, which is the real shame. There you go, on that side, which is the shame of the matter. And again, we got to talk about things like female space, people without women without penises, right? Do they have rights? Do they have rights to women's sports? Do they have rights to these are real, genuine issues which you can't just be glossed over by shouting at me out that I'm a bigot, right? I'm afraid. So I think that is the big detriment to this era, right? Which was kind of very minor in this episode, right? It was very minor. Good news, however. Oh man, really good news for me. Disney Plus, somebody must have screamed at them. Aired the episode at the same time, so I was able to watch it on my big screen, which was really nice. I started watching it with the VPN on my computer, and I thought, 10 minutes, I'll just check to see if it's on Disney Plus, and it was, right, and it was. The story is light, it's frothy, it's a Christmas special, right? It's not meant to be complicated. It's meant to grab people and give them an entertaining time and bring them into Doctor Who, right? That's the function of this episode, to grab people, give them an interesting time, give them a fun time. This was a fun ride. I'm sorry, it was. It genuinely was a fun ride. And again, Shooty Gatwa wasn't it that much. It was more focused on Millie Gibson's Ruby Sunday, but it was. He really sold it as a Doctor, right? Really, really, really sold it as Doctor with as much authority as Tom Baker as a Doctor. I mean, surprisingly, how much he sold it as the Doctor, right? And look, for me, him being black was a non-issue. I know some of you, it's a major issue. For me, it's a genuine and I don't think you're racist if you think it's an issue. Yeah, for 6 years, the character's been white. I hear that, right? Why do I hear it? Because it's true, right? I do hear that. For me, it's not an issue. But again, I'm kind of viewing this as a somewhat of a reboot, which it kind of is. Honestly, now looking at it, I think the 60th anniversary was a detriment to it rather than a benefit. Because I think that those three stories were just tired, backward-looking, woke, lecturing, and screamed at me that David Tennant was really over the hill, right? David and Catherine Tennant, and Ralph C. Davis all seem to be really over the hill. Now, my best hope was they will be reinvigorated for this new era, which they are, right? So I'm very, very happy about that. And yeah, I think, look, for me, I wouldn't go far as say excited because I've been, kicked in the balls a lot and I have no idea what the future will bring. But I am looking forward to seeing this first season now, right? Again, it was a slight story. It wasn't like a complex story because it was a Christmas story, right? So frothy adventure, essentially designed to reintroduce people to Doctor Who. I thought the performances were good. I thought Shooty had, as I said, tons of authority. I thought Millie Gibson was great as a companion. Had their relationship seemed authentic. And again, we'll talk about the two. I would say cringy moments, right? Cringy moments, but it's important not to get caught in a bubble, baby. Don't get caught in a bubble, especially. And I want to be very clear, especially when you're farting, right? Don't get caught in a bubble. Not good. One fart bubble that I think it will be good to be caught in, though, will be my guest who is not overly happy with this episode. I don't know if he's ready to come on. His mic's not on. Hang on 1 second. Oh, no, his mic is on. Him not being happy, I think, means quite a lot because, he's quite a geeky guy. In fact, I would call him the Mega Geek. Thank you for
Merry Christmas, pal.
Merry Christmas to you, my good man.
How are you?
Very good. So look, I'm not sure how much you heard, right? I thought that the essence of the character of the Doctor is to be an anti-authoritarian authority. Shooty effortlessly and instantly convinced me he was a Doctor. Right, even the dancing scene at the beginning, it could fit into a worldview. I'm viewing this as a reboot of Doctor Who, essentially. I think Millie Gibson's relationship with him was very much like Sarah Jane Smith and the Fourth Doctor, Joe, or even close to Joe Grant and the Third Doctor. Right? I thought that particularly worked. I thought it was like fluffy nonsense. They didn't really explain the science of the goblins, but they said there was some kind of weird science there behind it. It doesn't really matter. Like I don't need to hear the science of the Vasta Narada because when they're creepy skeletons in spacesuits, right? So for me, as an introduction to this new era Doctor Who, it completely worked. You didn't like it, however, I gather. So let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, this is not Doctor Who as far as I'm concerned. This is, I don't know what it is, tell you the truth.
Well,
things
why,
don't.
Why not? Why is this not Doctor
Who? Because it's the Shooty's. I would like to say Shooty's acting was terrible in this. He doesn't act like the Doctor at all. There are some moments in the film in the episode that didn't make any sense. For instance, the ending where he
spoiler warning for all of them, Karen.
Yeah, oh, spoilers. Sorry, mate. Spoilers. When the whole thing blows up, yet the baby didn't get incinerated. So it's things like that that really pisses me off. Yeah, you didn't see that, did you? Because you were too busy.
We're talking about when that was towards the middle, when they're escaping from the
no, at the ending, when he goes back in time to save Millie, when the goblins got it, he makes the ship go into the to the church.
Yeah, and then the baby falls.
No. Then the ship blows up, right? And then the baby falls out. That baby should have been incinerated.
So that seems like the same sort of nitpick you could really put against most Doctors.
No, Rabbi, no. You're trying to find every excuse to like this.
I'm not finding. No, I went in thinking it'll be shit. I really did. I went in thinking, God, I would rather have a fist up my ass than have to watch this.
Okay,
right?
listen.
I really thought it would be shit, and I was trying.
Okay, all right. So, Rabbi, listen to this, right? So basically, he climbs up the thing. He uses the gloves to pull the ship down, right?
Right.
It goes into the steeple. The steeple spares the Jabba the Hutt thing, right? The next shot is the whole ship blowing up in a huge fireball. Right. Then the baby comes out. I'm sorry, but logic tells me that if the ship blows up into a huge fireball, that baby would have been incinerated.
Well, you could be saying that the timelines are being. There's a lots of ways.
That's terrible, Rabbi. That's in the face of logic, Rabbi.
I've seen. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like massive plot holes. Capaldi had a bunch of them.
We're not talking about Capaldi. We're talking about this episode.
Okay, but I'm saying these are not. I think that is a animosity-driven nitpick, right? And it's
not a nitpick. It's logic. Why would you ignore logic in the script?
I think it's a leap of logic, a failure of logic. I would say.
Yeah,
that's not uncommon in Doctor Who.
Look, you know what, right? I have nothing against you liking it. I think it's great that you like it, but for me, this isn't Doctor Who. Start singing when they're in the thing. Why did I start singing? I have no clue whatsoever.
Well, again, I think that ties into like this. They were talking about there being like this weird magical science where rope is and they were trying to translate it as they went, where rope is akin to electric. And again, that just fits into Doctor Who to me.
No, it doesn't. Doctor Who.
Have you?
There were never musical numbers in Doctor Who. I'm sorry.
No, I understand that, but there's always been the one. The story I keep referencing, you probably haven't heard it, is The Chimes of Midnight, which is a very, very good classic Eighth Doctor audio story, Christmas story, which I like a lot. Right, I listened to it recently.
Yeah.
And it's very traditional Doctor Who. It's from like the 2000s, right? It's very traditional Doctor Who. But the Doctor and companion turn up in a this house, and they're out of phase with time. And when they finally do get in phase, then they're in some kind of dinner theater, but they're not, right? It's like every at midnight at the chime of midnight, at the chimes of the hour, another of the cast gets killed, and again, it's like they're in like a dinner theater situation, and you can't really work out what's going on. But it's very artificial. And then as it goes on, they explain it. Now, That they didn't explain it, to me, isn't really a problem, because the people who need the I think people who need the explanation are either people who if you need that explanation, you need it's I really don't. As I said, like I really don't need the explanation of why there are skeletons walking around in spacesuits that like are going to eat your flesh. Right? It doesn't really matter. It's like they're spooky monsters. Okay.
But listen, Rabbi, the script was badly written. It was really terrible. The logic was thrown out of the window completely. Why did Angie? Why did Angie? I called her Angie at the end.
Yeah.
Why did she break the fourth wall and talk to us?
I thought it was great. I don't know why.
Didn't.
That's a mystery rather than a plot hole. Right?
No, Rabbi, no. It's become a cartoon now.
And also the fourth wall she broke was more in story than like when the first Doctor broke the fourth wall on the Feast of Stephen, which is what it felt like it was referencing. And when she's saying like, look, okay, if you don't at the end, she seems to know what's going on with.
She might be the master. You never know.
Could be. I mean, like you've no idea, but like it seems to look. She's in the beginning, and then you see her at the end, and she's much more friendly and much more knowledgeable about the Doctor in the last bit. So it seems that she went off and became the Doctor's companion for a bit, or something in between the beginning and the end of the episode.
Well, you know the bit where so he goes back into the room and he's talking, and he suddenly realized that Millie's not there.
Right.
Is it Millie? No. What's her real name? And Ruby.
Millie's a real name. Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby's not there. And why didn't the black woman go, who the hell are you? What are you doing in my house?
Again, you know, Millie was Ruby was removed from reality. The Doctor wasn't, right? So you could say when the timeline reformed without Ruby, the Doctor was still in it, and so she
then why was the Doctor there in the first place? If Ruby, because the Ruby is the connection between the whole thing that makes logical sense.
Because again, this is great fanish discussion.
It feels
bad, but this is
Rabbi. It feels like fan fiction to me. That's what it feels like, and bad fan fiction at that. It just the thing doesn't work right. The moment Ncuti opened his mouth,
I'll agree with that.
But the moment
I agree with that. This is
but hold on, Rabbi. The moment he opened his mouth, I realized how bad an actor he was. That accent doesn't do him any favors either. For me, right? You know, like the one with David Tennant, the very first one, the Christmas special. At least it had some seriousness to it. The world was in trouble. He had to save the world. He was he was regenerated. You know, he was hardly in it, just like Ncuti, but he made an impact. Ncuti to me did not make an impact. And no, but hold on. Yeah, it's okay if you disagree, Rabbi. I'm not arguing with you at all. I think it's great that you have your own opinion on this, and I think it's great that you like it. But you asked me my opinion, and I'm telling you this is my opinion. I just thought it was awful, the whole thing from start to finish. There was no need for him to dance and prance around in the club. I didn't think so. That really lame jokes with Davina Nicole.
That was the second most indulgent and irritating thing in the episode. The first was Millie Gibson. Ruby Sunday was in a band with
the trans guy.
Singer. Look, I wish they would understand how off-putting it is.
It is, yeah.
It's like you know, and it's like I was saying earlier. Yeah, Rusty Evans had this weird belief that the more exposure one has to trans people, the beach. No, you want us to be okay with the trans world. Keep it quiet, right? Just keep it here. Because when normal people see it, they go, well, that just makes that's weird, right? And it's not like a knee-jerk prejudice. It's essential human nature.
He didn't come across
but it didn't. Well,
the bottom line for me is he didn't come across as the Doctor at all for me.
Right.
But that's just me. Obviously, I'm pretty sure a lot of people disagree with me and think it's great and all that. And
I mean, I don't know. I think look, the Dr. Ruth didn't come across as a Doctor. Jodie,
no, because she wasn't.
Exactly. Jodie never came across as a Doctor.
Yeah, and she wasn't.
That she wasn't. But like, he seemed as authentically the Doctor as Capaldi.
No, he didn't. He did not. He did not. It was just awful from start to finish, as far as I'm concerned. The logic was thrown out the window. The box was sitting in the middle of the street, and if that happened, there'll be like the police or the ambulance come and lift that thing away. Do you know what I mean? Logic gets thrown out the window.
Which box was that?
The police box, when it was stuck on the middle of the pavement.
It
would have been taken away.
Well, that's the interesting plot point, because like at that point, Anita Dobson didn't know what it was, and at the end of the episode, she knows what a TARDIS is.
Yeah, but look, another thing that really did get my goat is the bit in the beginning where the policeman, and so he says to him, you're gonna you got the diamond in your pocket and blah blah blah. Hold on, I'm not finished. And then he says, you're gonna get married, and then he gets into his box and the box disappears. Now you'd think that a man who'd see a box disintegrate right in front of him, that would be his main point of focus. No, but he walks away saying, I'm gonna get married. Rubbish writing, rubbish logic, makes no sense, and that's just the start of things in this episode.
I think every form of entertainment has to have its own internal.
No, you're making up excuses for it, Rabbi. It's bad logic. It's bad writing.
I'm answering your point. That's not making excuses. That's answering your points.
Listen, everything I'm saying is not. I'm not having a go at you, Rabbi.
I understand.
I'm just saying.
I look where I think this is really coming from like the. I think a lot of the animosity to this new era comes from several places, not from this episode. And it's hard to view this episode on its own merits because of the things they've done that have been just like nails on a chalkboard. Like the whole 6th anniversary was a massive crushing kick in the balls.
Yeah, it was.
Where they just squandered every opportunity they had. It's disgraceful how they wasted that opportunity. And the Star Beast trans scene, I think, really scuppered it. But watching this in its own merits, if without that affecting it. Anyway, so my point is this: I think the heart is the captain of the ship. I think people have felt betrayed. I think people feel let down. I think people feel crushed because they had hope, and that hope was torn away from them. Right. So that's where I think the anger is coming. So, but I don't think it's coming from the actual content of the episode. I'll give you an example. Westworld, right? Everybody says Westworld was great in season 1 and went awful and woke in season 2, right?
I didn't see season 2.
What? Okay,
I didn't see season 2.
So the thing about Westworld is I watched season 3 and I thought, it's okay. Season 4 I thought was stunning. So I went back and did a major rewatch of it, and I found out that season 2. Well, firstly, the thing about Westworld is it's a show you got to watch like 3 or 4 times to really get what's going on with it. Which for me, I love that. I love that complexity. I love that depth. I love that, which is what it has. It's not confusing. It's just so layered with information. However, what I think people thought was woke about the second season wasn't. This was all stuff that was set up in the first season, and I think vital to the plot. But it came at the wrong point in the culture war, where people were like reeling from the opening salvos.
I can't comment on it because I never saw it. So,
there
is a point, right?
I'm not. Yeah, the point is this: they weren't reacting to what was on screen. They were reacting to what they felt was a triggering attack. Right. So again, I think the Star Beast scene was a triggering attack. I really do. I think it was completely out of line, completely stupid, and did nothing but damage. Literally nothing but damage. But I think the animosity people have for shooting up while going and this new it mostly comes from that, because once you look at something in a negative light, right now you're looking at this new era in a negative light, and it's their fault you're looking at it in a negative light. You're just going to see the negativity. What's the difference between liking somebody and disliking someone, right? Because most people are equally an arsehole and equally good, right? But if you focus on people's positive traits, you like them, and normally because they're positive traits that you.
There were some positive moments in this episode. I like the visual effects. The visual effects was really good. The music was really good as well, I've got to
I
admit.
thought so too.
And the sets were good as well. There were some really nice moments, nice designed sets, especially the apartment. The apartment was bigger than anything.
Oh, you're right. No, I didn't even notice that set, and it was excellent. I agree with you.
It was bigger than anything you can get in London, put it that way. But it was it was an interesting design for a set. But so there are some positive moments in there. As I said, Murray Gold's music has gone up a notch. I think his music was really good in this. But for me,
it wasn't good during the 60th.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It was like a soundboard. It really annoyed me, right?
Yeah.
But I think being removed from like doing David Tennant stuff. David Tennant is basically, I think David Tennant and Catherine Tate showed these the anniversaries that they were just over the hill. It's too late for them, right? They can't really go back. And Doctor needs, sorry, I was going to say Doctor Who needs to be pushing forward. But sorry,
I think Doctor Who needs to grow up. I always say this. A lot of people disagree with me, especially people on Type 40. But they disagree with me. But Doctor Who needs to grow up. I'm sorry, you cannot keep doing this stupid logic thing with Doctor Who. Things need to make sense so that the audience can grasp onto it and actually feel that it's important and see the show is moving forward. But to add this illogical stuff in the script and just ignore logic right across the board, well, not right across the board, that's exaggerating, and certain scenes, it just spoils it for me. It really does.
I don't think it's ignoring logic, but it's like
okay, I'll tell you. Okay, well, you say ignores knowledge. I will say to you again, right? He pulls down the boat ship. It hits the spiral. It kills the guy. The thing blows up in a big ball of flame.
Right.
How did the baby survive?
I can give you many answers, but you're just going to say I'm making up excuses.
No, there's you can't give me an answer.
No, I can't. No, I can't give you. I can give you answers about why they sang. I can give you answers about everything. But you have to use
it doesn't make Rabbi. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry.
Again,
your explanations don't make any sense. It's like
no, but they make sense to me. And I'm not I don't really.
That's
have
all that matters then.
That makes sense to me, and I don't really have the problems that you have. What? Take the baby thing for example. Like they're certainly dealing with some kind of fantasy logic with these goblins.
But this is not Doctor Who. The Doctor was never like that.
I know. I think it sits very comfortably with Sharda and City of Death. Right?
Well, if you say so.
I mean, take City of Death. Oh, what a wonderful butler! So violent. Right? It's a great line. It's silly line. It's fantastic, but it's also very. It was not naturalistic. It's not real.
But the thing is, though, that was ages ago. Doctor Who needs to grow and needs to be kind of more logical now. It really does. It really does need to be.
I really fundamentally. Have you ever seen the Adventures of Baron Munchausen?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, I love that movie. You know why I love that movie? Because the central message of it is once you was it?
You've been eating too much pies today. You spoilt your mind.
No. They do not spoil.
Oh, right. Okay.
Once you codify something into science, you've made it smaller. You trapped it. You made it less interesting. You made it more hollow. And the vibe of that whole movie, the point of the whole movie was that the legitimacy of fantasy over science and fact, which I think fits very much into the Doctor Who realm as well, right? It's and it can fit. The thing is, Doctor Who is very mutable. You have people like Chris Beammead who did much more naturalistic things, and he had Eric Saywood who was more comfortable doing like crime drama, and then you got like Matt Smith, like the Weeping Angels are a bonkers concept. What,
it makes sense,
because you say quantum locked, it doesn't make any more sense that they can't move when you're looking at them. It's just
but no,
word that makes it feel okay.
Right. No, you're right about the concept of it. The concept is it's a good concept. It works, but what they did in the show didn't make any sense, did it? Because you and I know that. Remember when Rory and Amy were up on the thing and they saw the Statue of Liberty, the statue, they threw the rules out because they wanted the story to work, right? To move to a next point. So it's that kind of logic writing that always spoils Doctor Who. There was throw logic out the window for certain scenes because it has to connect to another bit in the script, and they just ignored the logic to it.
Why did he have a robot? Why did the pirate captain have a robot parrot? I mean, like because that's Doctor Who. That kind of bonkersness, I think, really is.
You're talking about a completely different thing here. I'm talking about logic that follows on to something. If a ship blows up in a huge fireball, the kid's not going to survive, right?
When I
that's
saw
what
that
I'm saying.
Right. When I saw that scene, the explosion, I in my head, I said was a physical representation of the implosion of reality that was happening when the time was over. And so it looked like an explosion because that was going on, but it was really just like crumbling away from reality. It's
fine, mate. It's fine. You can do your own logic.
I think catching the basket was more of a leap of logic than the thing surviving it blowing up.
You know what? It doesn't matter to me because I think after this one I'm going to be out of Doctor Who now because I don't like the way. I don't like the way Doctor Who's moving. I mean, I think Ncuti should be directed better than he was in this, and his accent really threw me off. And his acting was, as far as I was concerned, was awful. There was nothing about the Doctor about him.
Awful acting, Jodie Whittaker. Look, when she said the Doctor, I'm like, no, you're bloody not. When he said, I'm the Doctor, I'm like, oh, I think he is. It feels like he is. Right? Like he was able to convince me of it. And I wasn't positively disposed to it. I was just trying to go into it with no mind. I thought that he was able to sell that to me.
Well, what about the bit where he goes back in time and he runs to save Millie. He gets Millie, right? And the mother's walking away. I don't know. It looked like a woman. I don't know if it was a father. I think it was a woman walking away.
It was a mother. People are saying that's Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's going to turn out to be Millie Gibson.
Anyway, right. So you see the mother walking away. The baby gets snatched. He does all that thing. The ship blows up. He catches the baby, right, and then he takes it back to the church. And the priest comes out and takes the baby. Then when he goes back to the TARDIS, the woman's still walking away. What?
Right. I think that looks like to be a plot point in a future episode.
But she would have been ages away. He would not have seen her. Why is she still walking away? That's the kind of logic that doesn't make any sense.
I think poking at it from doing things with dramatic license, and that's what it is. It's dramatic license.
You're making up excuses.
It's not excuses. It's a constant of Doctor Who and television. Right? It's a constant of it.
I don't know, mate. I really don't. I just think it doesn't make any sense.
I could go through most episodes and come up with lots of things that just don't make sense.
I think for this episode of Ncuti, it should have been something more serious, something that actually shows me that he is the Doctor, period. Like they did with David Tennant when he's like, when he throws the Satsuma and and he says, "Oh, I don't know," and you know what I mean, stuff like that.
I think this was a better debut episode than Christmas Invasion. I really do. Certainly more enjoyable, and I think they're setting up the style of this new era, which is something different.
Which is things that don't make any sense, like getting out a hammer and slamming the TARDIS and making another.
No. That I think fits into the 60s bullcrap stuff, right? So far, this has been.
I would honestly say that the 11th Hour is probably one of the best.
That was fantastic.
It
was the best debut episode,
and that didn't, and that didn't have logic flaws in it at all. That made perfect sense.
That was just perfect writing.
Yeah, and afterwards, when he stands there and he says, "Hello, I'm the Doctor," you were convinced that Matt Smith was the Doctor. With this one, I wasn't convinced at all. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I felt. No,
again, I'm not blaming you for it, but it's for me. Again, for me, he totally sold it as a Doctor. I when he said he's Doctor, I'm like, I believed it.
Yeah, I didn't.
I felt he was more convincing as a doctor than Peter Davison, Colin Baker,
Sylvester McCoy.
as Chris Eccleston. I know Sylvester McCoy's first season, yes. The last two Sylvester McCoy, no, and Chris Eccleston. I think he was more.
You thought he was more convincing than Chris Eccleston?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
I think Chris Eccleston only really found out what he was doing with the role when he got to.
I've got to admit, I agree with you there, because I think in the first episode he was having a hard time with the humor. That's what.
Right, he was grinning inanely. Right.
Yeah.
But Shooter's Smile again. It had Tom Baker vibes. It was.
I don't know what you're looking at, mate.
I wasn't going into this like, no,
I wasn't either. I 100% opened my heart, my eyes, my ears to this episode because I wanted it to be good. But unfortunately, it is not good, and it's not Doctor Who. So, I'm gonna have to bow out of Doctor Who, just like I did with the Jodie era.
Listen, mate. I hear what you're saying. Bottom line is, this is all some subjective opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And like, no one can tell you that you're wrong.
Well, people can. It's
enough.
Up to you, isn't it? Yeah, people can tell you they're wrong, but it's your opinion, and
and
that's that, isn't it? I mean, we have to agree to disagree. We can't fall out over a TV show because that's just ludicrous, isn't it?
Listen, if you're going to tell me that Jodie was authentic Doctor Who, then
she wasn't.
Then we could fall out, right? When you're getting into saying that, well, look, I was talking to Dan about this. I think a big problem this new era has is its dogmatic and very loud what's the word, promotion for the trans worldview.
Yeah.
Is that a line that just too many people can't cross? You're a pretty religious Christian. You went to church for midnight mass.
I did, yes.
You do all that stuff, right? And so look, people of faith, they've been pushed and pushed and pushed quite a lot over the last 20 years. And the whole thing about living with people with a different worldview, that fits into Christian virtue, right? If you have somebody who's gay, okay, fine, have something gay on EastEnders, we don't care, right? Yeah. But the lines got pushed and pushed and pushed, and I think the same-sex marriage thing was the demarcation line. And now this dogmatic screaming at you that women with penises are women, and if you don't agree, you're a bigot, might just be a line that I would understand that many people of faith just won't cross. We're like, no, enough already. No. I think it's evil.
I think some people, if they listen to the way I talk, right, they might misconstrue that I am against trans people and I'm against.
No, you're not.
I am not at all.
You're against the promotion of being trans as a normative and healthy sexual identity when it's more likely a kink.
Well, yeah, but also I think it's morally wrong to have stuff like this in kids shows.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah, I think kids.
I agree completely. Right,
yeah.
I agree completely. The cat's how you doing?
But that's what Russell T is doing, and and for that, I can't support that kind of thing.
I completely hear it, but for me, surprisingly, he kept that in line tonight.
But the thing is that I don't trust the show going forward. I can't.
I agree with you as well. I completely understand that point of view. When I watched The Mandalorian the first time, I was gripping my armrest, waiting for it to hit me in the face with a Kathleen Kennedy bullshit it was going to find, right? And it didn't. I was amazed, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Listen, for me, I can go into this. I might. It depends how his first season is. I might buy the Blu-ray of this episode if that first season is good.
Well, right? I mean, it's up. I mean, it's up to you, mate. It's again, right? I would stress. I was disappointed, and I know where Russell T is going with this show, and I'm not going to jump on the bus for the ride. So, good luck to everybody else. If
Vive la différence, right? Vive
exactly. Yeah. So
fine. So I wanted to I wanted to run through the plot of the episode. Okay. For people who haven't seen it, do you want to was it hang out? I take it.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, fine. So it starts off. I'm trying to remember. It starts off with it was a
Baby in the
shooting
Snow.
What was that?
Baby in the Snow.
Baby in the Snow, which is something that he completely ripped off from his own book, Damaged Goods, which is very good actually. But yeah, something about Shooty narrating something about a baby in the snow. And you I think you see Millie Gibson, baby Ruby being being left at a church by a mysterious woman who intentionally looks a bit like Jodie. Right, it definitely intentionally looks a bit like Jodie.
Yeah.
Then you get the titles, and Millie Gibson's being interviewed by Davina McCall. I don't really know who she is. I guess she's an English.
She's she's a TV presenter over here, very famous actually.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's there. She's an orphan, and it's one of those shows where they're trying to find
the parents. Yeah.
And some accidents happen. You see these little goblin hands in the background. Was it causing trouble? The next day, something else happens.
She's in a club.
The next day they're in the club.
Yeah.
Shooter's dancing around. Now I get the impression like that Shooty is stalking Millie Gibson somewhat because there's some kind of weird energy or something coming off her about luck or something. Again, I'm going to watch it again tomorrow and give you a better deep dive review. But yeah, so you have Shooty Dancing Club. It's very Queer as Folk meets Doctor Who, right? It's very, very Queer as Folk meets Doctor Who. Does it work? Okay, so in my head, I can say to myself that, well, this is obviously a masturbatory fantasy for Rusty Davis, right? You know, the beautiful guy in the club, right? This is obviously that. In character terms, can I see the Doctor doing this? I can see this Doctor doing this. I certainly couldn't see Pertwee doing this, right? I could see I could see a lot of the modern Doctors. I could see Colin Baker's Doctor doing this. I could see Tom Baker's Doctor doing it, right? Just not dancing as well. But he's doing this dancing in a club, and then he turns up with and catches Ruby Sunday's drink that's about to be full because of these goblin hands.
Yep.
And so and you get to the new Sonic. The new Sonic works fine. I'm sorry, the new Sonic is for me it's fine that it's non-phallic, right? I no.
It's quite ugly actually. I found it quite ugly.
To me, it looks more like a like a fob watch. Right, and they say meet up there, and then the next day she's doing Christmas shopping, and again, oh my god, Millie Gibson looks so good, right? Throughout that, she just looks so great. It's so
down boy.
Look, having a sexy companion is a good thing, right? It is a good, and I think she can act. Honestly, I think she's destined for great things. I think she's destined for.
She wasn't too bad in this. I found. I also found that the her obviously foster mother and the granny, I thought they were quite amusing, and
I thought they were good. So I originally thought. So let me get there. She's doing shopping. She goes home. The TARDIS is
blocking the road. Yeah.
Right on, and Mrs. Flood's there say, "What is that thing?" And Anita Dobson, "What is that thing?" And she's blaming the neighbor. And then they go. She goes home and she drops the eggs because of the naughty goblin hands. And you meet her extended family. Now, I initially thought that the mother and the grandmother are actually lovers because I'm just like, well, that's what you expect to see, right? Like, I was so relieved they're a mother and grandmother, so they're very excited because they have a new baby coming, and they really build her character very well. The mother of being the foster mother.
Parent.
Yeah. So that was very good, and they're making the crib for the baby, and they're all excited. And the council brings around the new baby. She's going to foster it for a few days, but like you really get to build up like. And so Millie Gibson was fostered by them. Ruby Rose was Ruby Sunday was fostered by them, and she ended up staying forever. And it's a very nice, warm, loving family unit, right? And I think they sell that very, very well. I'm happy to have that in Doctor Who. I think that's an important thing to have in Doctor Who. So then, the mother goes out. Millie hears something on the baby monitor and goes to find that there's
she has to go and buy something. Or something.
Right.
Was it milk? Was there out of milk or something like that? Eggs or something. Yeah, diapers. I don't know what it was. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
For the new baby, the diapers
right.
for
Yeah.
6-month-old. So she goes, and the baby's being kidnapped by these goblins.
Yeah. So she hears the thing on the baby monitor. She goes
right.
Then she sees the photograph.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah. So whenever they have a new kid, they take a picture. They have a picture of all the kids on the bridge. She takes a picture. So she goes in, and the baby's missing, and there's just a Polaroid of a goblin who obviously took a picture of themselves.
Yeah.
So they're going up the skylight. She runs after it, and she grabs onto the ladder. We've all seen it in the trailer, right?
Yeah.
On the picture, grabs on the ladder that's got this magic ship. Right, like floating above it, full of goblins, and that's where we meet Hugh Cup meets the Doctor again. I thought he was brilliant in that scene where he's running across the roof and jumping over the chimneys without looking at what he's doing. That seemed very Doctor Who. You hated his voice, so I can see that being a problem for you.
It's not. I just thought his voice was a bit odd. That's all. But
It's a bit odd. But I think I can. It's something I think I can. I don't think it's a block to me, right? I think it's something I can certainly get over or get used to.
Do you know? Right? I just like to say, right? You know, with every iteration, apart from the Jodie Doctor of the Doctor, the actors always know that the Doctor is a man of age, right? So he's very wary. He's traveled the universe and stuff like that, and majority of the time, that's how most of the Doctors played him. Right. So, Matt Smith played him as an old man, even though he had a young body. David Tennant played him as a shouty, gurning man, but still an old man inside David Tennant. But the thing I don't like about Ncuti is none of that's in Ncuti at all. There's a lot of
no. You see, that wasn't the impression I got. The impression I got was that he's that he seems to be a genuine. Was it extension of Capaldi's Doctor? Capaldi's Doctor,
not at all.
Me, I'll explain what I mean. Capaldi's Doctor, I think, when he got to his second season, came out in the tank, which I liked. A lot of people hated.
Yeah.
But by that time, he developed the character that he was, instead of being your friendly uncle, he was your dangerous uncle. And he was your dangerous uncle because he didn't give a shit about anything. He was crazy and would do crazy shit. He was the uncle that your parents didn't want you to talk to. Yeah. Right. So I like that about it. So this one is, a being that has lived for thousands of years, which basically has at this point, and gone through a series of renewal. And I think he's pared himself down to here's the best way of explaining it. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? There was an argument, who's smarter, the dolphins or the humans? Humans say, we're smarter because we built cities and atomic bombs and all these kinds of things, so we're obviously smarter. Whereas the dolphins say, no, we're smarter because we hang around in water and we play all day and we're all really happy, right? And so I think that's the tension with this Doctor. He's much freer from the baggage of his lives right now, because I think he's found a certain solemnity and peace within himself.
Well, that's why he doesn't come across to me as the Doctor, because every actor iteration of the Doctor was the Doctor. It was basically an old man in a whatever body that the Doctor's inhabited. It was the same character, but this Doctor seems like, I hate to use the word, he minces around quite a lot.
He does mince around a lot.
Yes, I'm saying.
So that's fair. Okay, that's fair.
All right. So what I'm saying is that Russell T is putting. Look, I don't want to insult people, but he's putting, and there's nothing wrong with what he's doing, putting the gay totally 100% into the Doctor.
Oh, this Doctor's gay. Okay, yeah.
So that's what he's doing. Right?
This is a gay Doctor, right?
So let me just make myself clear. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but for me personally, that's not the Doctor. And if he wants to take it down that road, there's nothing I can do about it because he's the showrunner. So if he takes it down,
I disagree with you there. There is.
What can I do about it? There's nothing I can do about it.
You can make your own Doctor Who, mate.
I could try.
One second. Here, look. Did you listen to this thing? You probably did.
Going in.
Doing. Like this is like my Christmas special I put out, the Toy Maker's Christmas.
Oh yes, of course.
It's read by an AR Peter Capaldi. I've got music in it. It feels completely authentic. To me, it feels completely authentic Doctor Who. Dr. Alex's stuff, right? This stuff over here, which is I got to start reviewing his new season. Hang on. Here, there you go. This is written by a fan. He's got an AI Peter Capaldi reading it on his channel. That to me is authentic as anything we've seen now. This new era is essentially fan fiction. I agree with you. I do agree with you. However, this is fan fiction that sort of works. Hello, my little kitten came to say hello. Come and say hello. This little kitten followed me home. You got it.
Oh really?
Yeah. 1 second.
By the way, Rabbi, how's it going down there with
what? The war?
Yeah.
Yeah. My son was just home for Sabbath, and during my last stream, he called me live and said, "Yeah, we've been told to phone you. We're going back into he's going back into Gaza tonight, I think."
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah. It's I don't know. We're getting kind of used to it now, though. But it's crazy times, baby. Crazy times. It's the end of days. Like I think this is like the beginning of the war at the end of days. I don't know where it's going. I have a good idea.
I certainly hope not, but there you go.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
You're always sure.
and shit keeps happening that makes me more sure. Like this stuff. I mean, like, look, just as a complete aside, the date of October, the whole stuff on October 7th was Kabbalistically completely crazy, right? So what that was in the Jewish calendar, it was the Jewish holiday of Shmini Atzeret, Simchat Torah, right? So you have the Jewish New Year, which is like a 2-week rebooting of reality, where everybody's judged, right? The nations are judged, you're judged personally, and so on the Jewish New Year, you have like the fate is written for the world, and then for you personally a little bit later, and then it gets sealed, right? You get sealed on October the 6th, right? That's when it's sealed and signed and delivered, and that turns into actualization on October the 7th, right? On this thing at about 8 in the morning, which is when these attacks happen. So, like, if you're a Kabbalistically aware person, you see this is the hand of God. Now, where is the hand of God taking us? I don't know. I honestly, I think this is when I say it's a messianic war at the end of days. I think this is going to end up with the third Jewish temple being built, which is going to be a bit of a weird thing, given that it happens. It has to be located where the Dome of the Rock is right now. So, which is where all the Middle East tension comes from. For that one little area right there. Anyway, that's where I think it's going.
Oh, that's all right then, isn't it?
But yeah, we will have
to. I think problem being he did a radio play of the Doctor as well.
He did. Do I still have it up here?
Yeah, I've yet to listen to it. But yeah, he's done one. Fans can make like do stuff like that and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they own the copyright and they own Doctor Who, so there's nothing we can do about it.
A year from now, but I think if I do an AI Christmas special, I can probably do a video one. Like that will look as good as anything that you see on TV. I think that's where technology is going, and once we get there. It doesn't matter who owns the copyright.
I think they'll shut you down, mate.
They'll try, but that's the thing. You can't stop, the signal, right?
What you call it? The Star Trek people stopped people from making more than 30 minutes of Star Trek, didn't they?
Right. But again, once you can make when it's a huge ordeal to make it, and you need hundreds of people and hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands and like lots of people to commit. Yeah, when it's one person on their own, right? It's very did you see the Celestial Toymaker reconstruction? The fan did?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No. What is it? Is it a cartoon? Is it
Yeah, but this is the best one I've ever seen.
Really?
Like, it's so much better. Yeah,
It's better than the one we got recently.
Yeah, so much better. It's crazy how much better it is.
Yeah,
here, I'm putting up for you right now. I'm just looking at it.
You have to have millions watching it for it to make an impact with the BBC.
No, but
really
again, the is this it? Yeah, this must be it. The ease of making.
Yeah, I understand that totally. Yeah. You can. Oh, you're talking about the first one.
A larger piece.
But look at this. It's beautiful.
But BBC did a version, didn't they? And it was terrible. Awful. Yeah, it was awful.
This was done by one fan on his own, right? One fan on his own. Technology is making things possible that weren't. Once there is stuff there is technology that the first thing I'm going to be doing is sort of like Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon, some forgotten IP, something like that.
Well, you can do War of the Worlds because nobody owns that copyright.
The way to do it is the best way to do these things, which is take what you love about it and invent something new, right? Have you seen Rebel Moon yet?
I have. It's terrible.
You just don't like anything.
No, it's not that. I like good things. The Rebel Moon's not very good.
It was only half the story, and it rattled along. It entertained me. It was like the first half of the Magnificent Seven. I like the design aesthetic. I like the casting. I like the characters. I like the world. I want to know more about the world. I'm looking forward to the next episode. I liked it all. Right?
I hate the designs of the ships. I thought the ships
I loved
awful.
it. I loved that it had its own look. It had its own design.
Looked like a submarine. The bad
guy. It felt a lot more like Battleship Potemkin than it did.
I didn't like it at all.
I think it leans more into like the European comic book sci-fi, which to me it seemed like a good story in 2000 AD, right? So which is what I like. So for me, it was fine. Anyway, back to Doctor Who. Kidnapped, right? Baby's being kidnapped.
Yep. Millie chases it. Doctor jumps on the ladder, chases
it, and then they meet up with the Doctor.
And then there's this huge explanation about the glove.
Yeah, so all the sciencey explanations go into the glove. So the Doctor's invented these gloves that take all the weight of your body when you so it's much easier to hold on to things, which I thought was a nice sciencey idea. And so basically they climb up with the gloves to the and they get captured immediately. And you get a nice little scene with them together, where they're breaking out, and he said, again, Russell can't not indulge himself with the gay analogy, right? He just can't do it, right? So they said, how do you know to do that? I said, it's been a hot summer with Houdini, right? And it's a fun, cute line, but Russell, can you cut down on the gay shit? Like, most people aren't gay, right? Stop with the innuendo constantly. It's just,
this is how bad the script is. He goes, these ropes tell me it's like a duct in a, I can't remember the line, but what he was saying.
I thought that was a good bit of the script.
I thought you didn't need to explain that. If you can walk around those things and they couldn't see you, that's enough for us. We know what's going on, but you didn't need to really say it at all. Anyway.
It's a judgment call on how much nonsensical science you use to explain it, like saying wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Okay, whatever. But so the idea is they're in some kind of magical science where the ropes are acting like electric conduits, like wires, and so he's trying to translate it in real time into what he knows, which again tells me we're in a fundamentally different scientific reality, which they're acknowledging in this, right? And I find that really interesting, right? I find that really interesting the same way I found Land of Fiction really interesting. Right, it doesn't seem out of place in any way, shape, or form for me in Doctor Who. That kind of like blurring of fantasy and science fiction, which is what it does a lot of the time. So then we get the Goblin song, right? Which I liked. I thought that was fun, right? I thought that was fun. We've all seen that.
Yeah, eating babies. Yeah, that's kind of
Dude, it's like
not
I
fun.
don't think anybody can take that seriously. Like it's cartoon violence, and it doesn't seem it didn't seem like they were really going to eat the baby, right? They were singing about it.
But we knew they weren't going to eat the baby, because if
Right.
they did, it'll be a R-rated thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
So you know you
exactly.
were going to eat it.
You knew it wasn't going to get that far.
No.
So now, so you have I would say your first real legitimate question you have on the logic of this is the Doctor and Ruby end up on the conveyor belt towards the. None of that made sense either. Why is it going on a slow? They put the baby on a slow conveyor belt, which goblins have to turn the thing to be able to move to the Goblin King. Like none of that, and that makes sense. But you can again, you get the feeling there's a bigger world there that you're not being told all the information of, which makes it seem more real to me. I mean, like if you read Watchmen, I think one of the great things they do there is they drop you in the middle of this.
Yeah, but things make sense, Rabbi. They make sense in Watchmen.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't initially. There's a lot of things that you have to unfold slowly before it.
Yeah, but then when you do, it makes sense. Tell me, how does this make sense? The goblins are singing. They drop in the middle of the what is it? The walkway thing.
Right, and then they start singing.
They start singing.
They start singing and dancing.
So and also, right? What? Okay, let me finish. They start singing, right? And the Ruby Sunday actually has lyrics. So
I know.
Where did that come from?
Makes no sense, right? Makes no sense. So again, in my head canon, as I was watching that, I went, "Oh, the Doctor has tuned into this magical science reality, and the way that you control it is by leaning into it." And I think that was the influence why they were able to sing and dance. Although both Ruby Sand, both Millie Gibson and Shooty Gatwell on the making of were terrified of the singing and dance thing.
She wasn't too bad.
Firstly, she was boogieing. Her ass looked fantastic.
Her voice didn't sound too bad. And Shooty's voice wasn't too bad either. More importantly,
her ass looked fantastic as she was dancing. Like just. Oh,
you're a man of the cloth. Stop that.
Yes, but the cloth is a dirty, soiled color.
That's terrible.
It did. I mean, I'll tell you, I will forgive most of that gyrating ass. It was gorgeous, right? It was a joy to behold. And she does. That really was a factor. But like okay, so that was the sciencey explanation. But for most people, they don't really need it. The people who need these sciencey explanations are people like you and me. And people like you and me can come up with stuff in their own head canon to cover it.
No, but it's not that, Rabbi. I keep stating it's the logic that doesn't make any sense within the script. How can you write something when something doesn't make any sense? That's not script writing. That's just being silly and stupid and ignoring the whole fact of what's going on.
That is making a dramatic effect, right? You want to. It was there to have a emotional resonance on the viewer. It's exactly the same way as Tom Baker.
But if it's too stupid, then it takes the audience out of what it's trying to achieve.
That's a personal, subjective judgment call. Tom Baker in Invasion of Time, when he tries to open the door, looks into camera and says, "Even the Sonic Screwdriver driver can't get me out of this one." It's stupid, but it's funny and it's fun, right? And so it's an entertainment, right?
But Doctor Who has evolved since then. It's evolved since the 70s. It's evolved since classic Who. So basically, they created this kind of world which is kind of more solid. But then there are some episodes where it just completely ignores logic, and this is one of them. It completely ignores logic.
I agree with you, but I think Doctor Who doesn't just evolve in one direction. It trends.
No, and this is the thing that I disagree with. It should develop with logic and going backwards and forwards and ignoring things so it can fit into the script because they want that ending. Is bad script writing. It really is very bad.
Again, it's an entertainment, right? And it wanted to entertain the audience, and I think it did so in a as a logical way as virtually most Doctors have done before. But the reason why, something about Doctor Who, people say Doctor Who is all about change. It really isn't. Doctor Who is all about being very, very contemporary, right? It's very much about, it's always when it's best, it's riding the surf wave of whatever contemporary what's the word I'm thinking of? Contemporary culture is like, which is why I think the Jodie era fits perfectly into Doctor Who, because the contemporary culture was garbage, and they rode that wave into oblivion, right?
There's nothing wrong with having things that happens now woven into the story of Doctor Who, but they have to be subtle about it and they have to be clever about it. If they bang your head over, they get a hammer and they start banging your head with the message they're trying to put in there, that doesn't work, because it'll just put you off depending on what message they're trying to sell, right?
They didn't do that at all tonight.
No, they didn't, right? But again, the logic in the script was the thing that took me out of it. And also, I must admit, Shooty's performance took me out of it completely, because he didn't convince me he was the Doctor. The Doctor that I know, that's the thing. So.
To me, he seemed like, if this was a reboot of the show, he seems as much as the Doctor as William Hartnell to me.
How could you say that?
I could, because I believe beings evolve over time. I'll give you another example, right?
You're full of examples today, aren't you, mate?
Well, I always am. I am convinced beyond convinced that Donald Trump is a reincarnation of the biblical figure Ahasuerus. Right, Ahasuerus was the Persian king in the story of Purim, which is a Jewish holiday coming up in about 3 months. Very brutal guy, right? Basically, not a good guy. Right? He was the king, and essentially Hitler was his. This guy called Haben, who was essentially Hitler, was his prime minister. And whole long story, anyway. But he sort of comes good in the end. So I think Donald Trump is the same soul as this person, but that soul has lived through many different lifetimes and has grown to be a better person, right, than he was when he was the bloodthirsty, murdering King Ahasuerus. Or, you've seen the movie Cloud Atlas, right?
Yeah, I hated that.
You hated that. It's one of the movies I like. But,
yeah, we did, yeah.
If you look at Tom Hanks's character, you have him back in like the 18th century or 17th centuries as like this really nasty guy, right? And then you track that soul throughout time, throughout his lives, and you see him grow to be a more peaceful, whole, unified person, right? Over a period of many lifetimes. So I feel that's what I feel about Ncuti Gatwa in relationship to William Hartnell's Doctor. That's why I feel they're in the same.
No, but but that's not what's happening, though, is it? We all know that Russell T is putting the agenda into Doctor Who big time, and so you can't really claim that, because the Doctor we never talked about sexuality with the Doctor. Listen, Tom Baker was with how long with Leela? He never looked at her once as a sexual object ever. Yeah, right, and that's the whole point of the Doctor. He's an alien. He doesn't see those things. But to stick these things into it and try and slowly groom kids and stuff like that, it's all wrong, mate. It's all wrong.
I don't think Ncuti did this yet. Maybe he will. And I understand you not wanting to watch it. I understand anybody not wanting to watch it because you don't want, like Sarah was saying this the other day, she doesn't want to watch it because she doesn't want to have to like brace for impact of whatever bullshit they're going to scream in your face. I just think I get that. I hear that.
I think it's morally wrong what they're doing, and I can't support it.
Well, right?
I wish you know what, right? I wish I could. I love Doctor Who. I think Doctor Who is a great TV show. Yes, there are episodes that were absolute bollocks and rubbish, but there were some fantastic episodes from Tom Baker straight across. Even I saw one episode, and I don't like Sylvester McCoy at all, but I saw one episode with. I think actually I watched the 3-parter. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. The one with Ace smashing the Dalek with a baseball bat. I love that. Yeah, I loved it.
It's an all-time classic.
Yeah,
it's freaking awesome.
So they can make straight Doctor Who with straight science fiction without the crap in it.
But Doctor Who can be many different things, and it changes with fashion. It changes with time. It changes with where culture is at the time.
It does, right? But the core of Doctor Who always remains, and in this version, the core of Doctor Who doesn't.
So what do you think is? Okay, for me, the core of Doctor Who has to be an anti-authoritarian authority, being a moral giant. Once you have that, and you have the TARDIS, you have Doctor Who.
No, but it's more than that, Rabbi. It's more than that. It's the person that you pick to play the Doctor as well. That's very important.
I agree. I think this one works. For me, it works.
Well, that's good for you, mate, because I don't think he works at all. Personally,
I'm really intrigued to know what the. I'm not sure if it's going to be successful.
Right, I don't know whether.
Honestly, I think the Star Piece might have killed this at birth. It really might have done.
That's what I'm saying. You know, look, all of it was done by design, right? What Russell T wrote, those three episodes with David Tennant, it was all done by design. And so, what does that say about the person, Russell T himself? What does that say about him? He's basically not a nice person.
With the woke mind virus.
Yeah, but also attacking the fans by deliberately putting stuff like that in there. He's not a nice person. It seems like he's not a nice person.
No, I disagree. I think his rationale is because he lives in a bubble. He believes anybody criticizing Jodie is doing so because they hate women. I think anybody criticizing the Indian guy playing Isaac Newton is because they hate brown people. He thinks anybody who doesn't want to see Doctor Who suck a dick because hates gay people. No, right. That's what he believes, and if you believe that, you're being virtuous. But he's wrong. That's basically that. This is why the woke mind virus is so intensely.
Yeah, evil. But Rabbi, what about when he said tough to that guy on Instagram? Is it Instagram? I can't remember.
Yeah,
no. Like, look, if you were in charge,
that's
what I'm saying. But if you, Rabbi, if you were in charge, right, of Doctor Who, and somebody said to you, blah blah blah, you'll just go. The best thing to do is say to them, yeah, you may be right, but I disagree with you. You know, but thanks for your comments. Do you know what I mean? Or ignore it. Yeah. But
so what I think was going down is, it was going way worse than he thought it was going to. Right, when they came in 2005, they thought, "Oh, I don't know if this is going to work." Everyone's like, "Oh, I don't know if this is going to work," and they were amazed how well it worked. They went into 2023 full of confidence that they were going to be the hugest thing ever. The overnights came in and they shit themselves.
Well, right? I don't know about that, but according to Chris Eccleston, remember he says that he won't come back unless Russell T leaves and Jane Tandon leaves. Right. It's like, and you got the feeling that. It was he said that the BBC didn't have any faith in it at all, but once it was a huge hit, everybody said, that we were responsible for that, that kind of thing. But that's what I'm saying. It's you remember that story when I was a kid? They used to read that story. It was called the hen and the loaf of bread. Do you ever read that one?
No, I don't know.
Where the hen goes around town, he's saying, I'm making some bread. And
who will help me?
Who'll help me? That one. It's like that, isn't it? When it comes to TV shows, yes, I'm saying. So that's the thing. I think is what's happening with Doctor Who. Now you're probably right. They thought it was going to be exploded with people liking his versions, but the reason why I say is I suspect he's not a nice person because the things that were in those 3 episodes were done by design, like telling off the Doctor and saying, like what made me laugh, right, is. The trans guy and Donna were saying to him, "You won't understand unless you're a woman." But the trans guy is a man.
I know. That's what how does that make any sense? Time Lord, because they're bollocks. Because it doesn't make sense because they're crazy.
Yes, I'm saying
the woke mind virus.
So using logic, this is what I come to the conclusion that he's not a nice person because he did that deliberately. He did it deliberately.
But did he do it deliberately to be a dick, or did he do it deliberately to be virtuous?
No, it doesn't matter which way he did it.
I think it does matter.
It doesn't, because logic. You know that if you do something like that, you're going to piss off a lot of people instead of doing it subtly.
Right. No, you don't know that. Again, in his mind,
of course you do.
No, in his mind, the people who object to trans representation are Nazis, are evil people, right? It is why that's what's going on.
I don't know.
But he's wrong, right? Again, why is the woke mind virus so evil? Because it takes your best qualities, your compassion, right, your care, and which are genuine, your love, and it uses it to destroy unity, to destroy togetherness. Right, that's why that's why the woke mind virus is so evil, and that's why I think what he is. I don't think he's trying to make people miserable. Right?
I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
He knows exactly what he's doing, but I think he didn't understand that the vast majority of the world thinks people with penises are women. People with penises are not women. He doesn't understand that.
I think he does.
No, he doesn't. None of them do. They're crazy. They really don't know. They really don't know.
But hold on. If you're talking about the Rabbi, if you're talking about the new generation of people, like teenagers or even people in their 20s, talking about but Russell T. But Russell T's a grown man. He's about as old as me.
He's a grown man through in an insane bubble.
But that's what I'm saying. So in other words, right, he has the knowledge of the past and what's happening now. So there's no way he could not know that he was going to piss off people.
Again, they really don't have knowledge of the past, right?
Russell T lived it. What are you talking about?
I know
he's a man of age.
But it doesn't matter. I have a neighbor, right, who is like insanely anti-Trump, right? And I live in a very like pro-Trump area in Israel, right? Which is basically everyone's pro-Trump, but insanely anti-Trump. And like now, several years later, you see that the economy is in flames. We're at the brink of World War III. Everything's worse. Everything was better when Trump was around. Everything was better, right? Their brain, and they lived it. And it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and their brain can't bring themselves to believe it. It's because the heart is the captain of the ship. And the heart tells the brain what's real and what isn't, and what to look at and what not to look at, right? It's an insanity.
I don't know whether I believe that. I did, like, you can't, like, for instance, if you do something wrong or if you lie to someone, you could convince yourself that it's not a lie, but in your heart, you know it's a lie, right? There is this one thing inside all of us, right, which is called the truth, right? And you cannot avoid it. If you do something bad,
that's why they scream so loudly.
That's what I'm saying. So, in other words, that
voice that's why they need to say they need to be seen. They need to be validated so hard because they know it's not valid.
But that's what I'm saying. But you're coming around to what I'm saying. If they know that they're not valid, they know what they're doing.
But they can't accept. Again, it's like somebody who's in a cult. They can't accept. In fact, the worst people to get out of cults are clever people, because clever people will come up with reasons why the cult is correct, which is where Russell T Davies is, right? Now, I'm not saying what he's doing is right or not awful. It is bad, right? Influencing kids to cut their dicks off, not a good thing. I agree with you, right? I don't think he's doing. I think this has been a program of mind control and of massive mind control, like MK Ultra applied to populations, and that's how we have the insanity that we have chicks with dicks being like, "Oh no, that's normal," right? And no, you mind. Anyway,
I don't know, mate. Go on, carry on with the story.
Fine. Well, let's get back to the plot. So we got
you're up to the bit where they
get the baby and
they sing. Yeah.
They escape the goblins and they get back to the very large apartment. You are right.
Yeah, huge large apartment. Yeah,
it's like the house in Bread. Remember that?
Yeah.
No one had a house that big in Manchester, right? Not even the mayor. Anyway, and then they're brought about by coincidence or something along those lines, and the mother comes back, and there's a few more coincidences happening. You see the lightning happen, and suddenly the ceiling like splits in two, like this big gash. And he said, "Oh, I think they're just saying goodbye to the doctor, right?" And then he looks around, and Ruby Sunday's vanished, right? And one of the most impactful parts of the episode, it really worked, was that time had changed, and the warm, loving mother.
Okay, can I just say something before you go on, right? You know the bit where he enters the room and Ruby Sunday isn't there? As a viewer, immediately my head said, "Where's Ruby Sunday?" Right? So if as a viewer I can say that, don't you think the doctor entering that room would say the same thing? This is the kind of logic that's really fails in Doctor Who, right? Not thinking about the audience. If he, like, for instance, I'll give you another example, right? Do you remember the episode?
Honestly,
hold on, let me finish. Let me finish.
Camera at the time.
Let me finish.
What are you talking about? I just thought she was off camera.
Oh no, she wasn't, because there was the camera followed him into the room and she wasn't there. Anyway, remember the episode, the one after was it the one where they're on the ship, right, with David Tennant, right? He comes out.
That's all of them.
No, sorry, the free special, the second story.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Yeah, that one. That's sorry, mate. So at the end, and he comes out of his TARDIS and he sees Wilf, right?
Right.
And he goes, "Oh, Wilf, blah blah blah, whatever." Everybody's normal, and then he says, "Doctor, there's something strange happening," and everybody goes mental, right? Right. So hold on, let me finish. Right. So everybody goes mental, right? To me, that's really bad writing. What should have happened is he opens the door, Wilf's in the corner, cowering in the corner. Everybody's gone mental. He goes up to Wilf saying, "What's going on?" And Wilf goes, "Everybody's gone crazy, blah, 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 blah." And the plane crashes. That makes sense. What doesn't make sense?
Good, but it's
no,
not as good.
No, it is. It's much better. No,
it's not good. You don't get the
it's much better.
First, you got to have the joy of seeing Wilf.
No, no, because that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't matter.
Of course it matters.
This is not a fly on the wall documentary.
You cannot
why was the TARDIS stolen at the end of was it the Faceless one? Why was the TARDIS stolen right then? It made no sense. Why? Because it was a cliffhanger.
Mate, listen, it doesn't make any sense. You know it doesn't make any sense.
I've seen episodes of Star Trek Next Generation. You go back and watch it on Netflix, right? Where when they come up to an ad break, you know they're going to ad break because they Riker will walk over this side of the bridge and Neo they'll all walk around so they can line up for the shot for the commercial.
Yeah, hold on, right?
They do. It's called telling. It's a dramatic presentation.
Because they've done it in the past doesn't mean to say you have to do it with your show.
No, but it
point.
explains what they're doing. What they're doing is trying to entertain. This is not.
That's not entertainment. Logic makes entertainment. You can't keep writing. You can't keep writing like that, Rabbi. It's bad writing. It's terrible, right? And shame on RT for writing such bad, because he's a really good writer, and this is just absolute rubbish.
Fine. Look, let me see if I can explain. See
Go on,
this picture here, right?
Great card.
Great card, right? Yeah. Now, what is this a picture of?
Picture of Perry in her underwear.
Right. No, actually, it's a bathing suit. It's but it's not that. It's a series of lines creating an illusion that it's a picture of Perry in a bathing suit. It's a series of lines and shades that to convince you to con your brain into thinking you're seeing that, but you're not. Right. That's the same thing here. Right.
No, it's
Everything
not.
is put on screen to manipulate your emotional state.
It's not. It's not. You have to have certain amount of logic in a screenplay.
I think there was.
You can't look right. Okay, right. So the second episode of the 60th anniversary. Why was the big red button?
I agree with you.
I'm trying to make a connection here between his writing. Why was big red button in the middle of the corridor? Why wasn't it in the pilot seat? Why wasn't it next to the pilot seat? I don't know. Anyway, the reason why it was there was because they had to follow up the story for the ending, right?
Right.
And it's really bad writing. Same thing with this one as well. It was bad writing, mate. You just can't avoid it.
For me, again, these were plot. Chibnall really had plot holes in them. That didn't.
Oh God, yeah, he was terrible. Absolutely.
But these ones were, again, seemingly part of the entertainment. Anyway.
Go on in. Go ahead.
We actually have found that was actually very, very good here. So we, Ruby Sunday has vanished, right?
Yes.
Doctor's looking around saying where she's gone. But the great thing is, firstly, the color palette gets grayer, which I really like.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And Ruby's mother changes from being the warm, loving person that she became from fostering all these people over all the years to somebody who doesn't really foster, as being a cold, nasty person. Right, and I thought that was very deeply impactful, and actually, the absolute essence of Christmas. Right, it really was the absolute essence of Christmas. Like except for the Muppets Christmas Carol. Right, the basic story of Christmas is this: if you try not to be a cunt, you might be happy.
God.
Right, that's the essence of it. Try not to be a cunt, and you might be happier. Right, that's essentially it. Take the story. Take Christmas year. Don't be a cunt, and your life's going to be better for it. Right?
Why am I on here?
Why am I to incriminate you? It's okay. You can say this is totally AI, and I faked it. Right?
You're right. Okay.
Right. So now we have this sequence where they go. The Doctor goes back in time because you realise that Ruby's been eaten by the goblin.
Yeah. But you see that scene doesn't make any sense either, because for the Doctor to be there in the first place, for that woman to know the Doctor and not question why she is in the house, it's because of the adventure that he had with Ruby. And if that adventure didn't take place, why was he in the house in the first place? And how come she doesn't say to him,
again,
who are you?
Reorganized to explain why he was there.
Sorry,
that's solid Doctor Who. That happens all the time.
It doesn't make any sense, though, does it?
Doesn't
make any sense, though. Come on.
I know if you got to listen to the Paul McGann Doctor Who, that's kind of that worldview, right? So anyway, it goes back in time to save baby Ruby. Essentially does, right? He uses his magic gloves, which are nearly out of power, to pull down the
whole of the ship, isn't it? Yeah.
Which then which the Goblin King gets spiked on the spire of the church. Church isn't damaged in any way, shape, or form either. Right? Again, so I take it that that was a timeline imploding, right, and being eaten up. And going away, but basically he saves Ruby, goes back to the present, and we have a bit of a coda where everyone's back together again, and everything's okay. And then I think basically just have Anita Dobson being very friendly to the Doctor and knowing who the Doctor is now, right? And Ruby goes to find the Doctor, and Anita Dobson points to the TARDIS. He's in there. And says, "Have fun" or "good luck" or something. And she goes in. And says, "I'm the Doctor." As he goes, TARDIS. I don't like the new TARDIS, by the way. It's way too big.
Yeah,
it's ridiculously too big. It's detrimentally too big, right? So
he copied the same thing from the first episode with Rose, didn't he? When she goes round the TARDIS, it's the same shot, and she goes in and she comes out again. She goes around the TARDIS and stuff like that. So it's like he's run out of ideas, personally.
To some extent, yes. I agree. Do that 8 episodes. Let's hope we'll be okay. And off they go. Then Anita Dobson has a moment where she talks to the camera and says, "Oh, what, you never?" But no, the guy she was giving a hard time to earlier, and he said, "What is that thing?" as it vanishes, and then she looks at the camera and says, "What's wrong with him? Have you never seen a TARDIS?" Yeah. Right. And
we forgot to mention that the Doctor saved Davina McCall's life.
Oh, right. Also, from a falling Christmas tree.
Falling Christmas tree, yeah.
Good for so saved. And then we get a trailer. Did you see the trailer?
Yeah, I saw the trailer, and it doesn't excite me at all. I'm out basically. I can't.
I hear it. Look, mate. Not everything is for everyone, right? But for me, this is this is as authentic as Doctor Who as the New Adventures were. Let's have a quick look at this trailer.
I mean, he meets the Beatles, doesn't he? At one point.
Honestly, he does it more than on Time Space Visualizer. It looks like the multiple costumes is kind of working as well for me more than I thought it would. But again, look, this looks like the Doctor to me. It really does.
He looks like Eddie Murphy. Carry on.
Into the vortex. I have the whole universe at my fingertips.
Oh, this is deep.
You can't! Happy Road Studios!
All right, let's take it from the top.
By the way, you should know that my dad's parents, right? They used to have a flat like overlooking like the entrance to Abbey Road Studios, and they could have bought it.
Cool.
They could have bought it for like £12,000 or something, right? But they didn't want to like get too into debt. Do you have any idea how much that would be worth today?
I know.
That would be crazy, right? I'm trying to find the.
My dad had a chance to buy a four-floor house overlooking Clapham Common in the 60s for 250 quid.
Oh.
And he couldn't afford it.
That's anyway. Yeah. Back to the trailer.
Ruby, there are powers beyond the universe.
Are you getting scared because you're just babbling now?
Ah! Smell faster! No job, no boss. Just fun.
What was that?
I don't know. Who was he hugging there?
Was he hugging someone, or was he?
Yeah, I think in unit. Who's that? Oh, that's
Oh, fuck
no,
off.
no.
Fuck off.
No.
Look, every time they tell me she's a beautiful woman, I go, no, she's fucking not.
No, this is one of the reasons why.
No, it's a bloke in a dress with a Judge Dredd chin. Okay,
this is the reason why I'm not watching this, because I don't like the way it's
going.
going.
Have you heard me disagree with you in any way?
No. I agree with you. Yeah, I hear you.
But it's like I'm saying, judging this episode on its merits, I was fine with it.
Just fun.
Classic.
I'd love it if you came with me.
So what do you think the overnights are going to be on this one?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I think a lot of people are going to be curious. So I think it might be over 5. So I think it'll be over 5 million. I think on this one.
Listen, I think anything under 6 is a disappointment.
Really?
Yeah. For like, this is trying to bring back Christmas Day viewing to what it was. This was the cornerstone of their. Although it was also early though. I don't know. I mean,
I do seriously. I do hope, and I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be nice. I really do think they're destroying Doctor Who, but I really do hope this is a success for Russell T and the people that like this kind of Doctor Who. Just because it's nice that people are happy, right? But again, for me, I can't take this. This is just I find this complete nonsense, So, but and I don't have anything against people that are into this stuff. Good luck.
I don't think you do, right? I don't.
Not at all.
So yeah, I'm intrigued to see how this.
How much do you reckon it's going to be then? How many people watch this overnight?
It could be 3.2, right? It could be anything. It could be 7.5.
No, but make a guess.
But it's impossible.
No. Well, I did. I made a guess.
Well, good for you, mate. Honestly, because there's not that I could hear the arguments go either way, right? Yeah. It could be medium, it could be high, it could be low.
Okay, all right. Let me rephrase the question. Do you think it'll be over 5?
I don't know. I think, judged on its own merits, it should be. Yeah, I think the Star Beast may and Davros and Indian Isaac Newton, right, may have all severely kicked this in the balls. Yeah, right? May have severely kicked this new era in the balls. Maybe, and we'll have to wait and see. I don't see it going down well in America. Although when I was watching this, I was going, "This is the best original drama best original entertainment," I say, on Disney Plus. Of everything they've done. It's by far the best. Better than anything Star Wars has done. Better than anything Marvel has done. It's by far the best thing on Disney Plus.
Well, it's not a high benchmark there, is it? Let's face
it. Not really, no. I agree.
It really isn't. But
fine. Let me get to say hello to a few people in the chat, which I'm an hour and a half in. Right, so let me just whiz through this quickly. Soda Ranger's here, Mark McCambridge is here. Woodhouse 122. R.I.P. Richard Franklin, by the way. Yes.
Oh yeah. Shame.
Richard Franklin passed away, so he didn't have to sit through it. Okay, so we don't know what he thinks. Fly Highlanders here. Paul Tosland. Night Clumsy wasn't needed, and obvious White was there. I agree. Again, it was Rusty Davis's masturbatory fantasy. Jonathan Cox said, but then again, Nicola Brights was my masturbatory fantasy. I found that fine in Doctor Who. Nicola, darling, can you squeeze this spandex? Why? No reason. By the way, the other Christmas thing I saw today, I saw a couple of Christmas things today. The other Christmas thing I saw today was Ricky Gervais's Netflix.
Was that good?
Sorry, very good.
Oh, right, I'll watch it.
It's how when somebody says something anti-woke, like Dave Show, they say it in passing, they don't really mean it. This is taking a blowtorch to every bit of woke philosophy.
He seems to be immune to the cancel people, doesn't he?
Yeah, he is immune. It is. it is brutal and hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Fine. Darren M is here. How you doing? Archibald Larris is here. Bobby D75 is here. Who else we got?
Problem being.
Sorry?
Problem being, sir.
Problem being. Well, you're way ahead of me, mate. Way ahead of me. Andy Dwelly's here. PD Rich is here. There we go. Still whizzing through. David Mullen here. Davis confuses his reality with our reality. That's very true. David Mullen is on the button there. I agree with you. Philip Bogart is here. Cybermat Strike. Cybermat Strike is here. I always think of the Cybermat striking in Revenge of the Cybermen, right? Which
yeah.
Where are we up to? Bollocks Rabbi says Archibald Lazarus. Not sure what I said, but didn't like. He didn't like it.
You know what? I got a message from Gary Beekler. He says, I said to him, I didn't think much of it, and he goes, I'm starting to watch it now because Christmas was going so good.
I don't expect Gary to like it at all. I think he's going to be very, very anti. But again, I don't think people are being fair with this, right? I think people are reacting to the Star Beast, right? Which is a fair thing to react to.
No. Well, I can honestly, truly say to you, I wasn't. I looked at it as a separate episode or separate thing from the other three, and I saw it. I saw it for what it was, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though, isn't it? You know, everybody's going to be different, right? So. You know.
Right. Oh, that's it. I'm just reading this comment. Iron DDY 69. 69, one of my favorite numbers. I like the 6. 9. Fair. It's all from the aftermath of the 60s. He says the Doctor with the salt superstition let more into the universe than the toy maker, and it warped reality of the universe. Yes, that sounds a reasonable, and I think we're going to get a lot more explanation on what's actually going on over the next 8 episodes. Vanessa Laura's here. How you doing, Vanessa Laura? As is John Diminek. I said hello to Andy Dwelly. Short E is here. How you doing, Short E? Dr. Guru Nanak is here. He was leagues ahead of Jodie. Well, again, that's a low bar, right? That's a low bar. It is
very low.
Yes. Icehole is here. I think it's pronounced arsehole, but Icehole. Okay. Where are we up to? Mark McCambridge, you were the first one here. Paul Flint is here. How you doing, Paul Flint? And where am I? I'm only about half hour behind now. There we go. I think I might start catching up. The General Grievous 19 is here. I'm looking forward to listening to Problem Beings thing, though.
Yeah, so do I.
He sent me an early version. I didn't have time to listen to it. Jamie Tipton is here. Robert Payne is here. And DWH is here. He said, don't take it seriously. It was lighthearted fun for family viewing. Yeah, that's where I was. Cronus Godwise in here. The separated by glass thing of the tenant should have been the plot point, but it wasn't. Setting up stuff by and dropping it is what writers do these days. Well, yeah, you are right. That does happen very quite often. Cy Nix is here, who was pleasantly surprised and fine. So he was, pleasantly surprised. I think that's where I am with this. Fine. Colin Archer is here. Back to Brigger's crime of the woke agenda. It made us all expect to see crap. Yes, absolutely. Cyberly Andy, I think I said hello to you. It was absolutely Dev Davis imagining his boyfriend putting it into Doctor Who. He was imagining putting more into Doctor Who, like essentially up his ass. Ethan Buckheiner is here. And we're nearly there. We're nearly there. I think Rob is here. How you doing, Rob? Thank you for joining us. Problem Being is here. Look, I'm up to Problem Being already.
All right.
Dave Drouse is here. Harry Potter meets Doctor Who in Star Wars with Jabba the Hutt. That's a really good review.
It was,
right?
yeah.
I think that's very fair. Joseph Slitz is here. Thank you, Joseph Slitz. Thank you for joining us. And where else? Talk to me. No, that's good. Rev Ravenwood is here. Couldn't have been worse than the giggle. Was certainly not worse than the giggle. I found this kind of like a refreshing. I found it refreshing after the giggle. Giggle just fine. All of the stuff sounded tired, right? Or felt tired.
Yeah,
Catherine P is here. Yeah. Colin Archer says, I'd like to see someone do a good Lensman series. I don't know what Lensman is, but okay. must be serious books. Sadako 24 is here. Problem being, agrees you didn't like Rebel Moon.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. But anyway,
Galactic Girls is here.
they're great, Galactic Girls. Fantastic.
They are indeed. So it's there's Blue Bonnet, right? My rating is in the negative rating. Not a fan. Not a fan. But you know, I just feel like we're debating Doctor Who, right? The way that we used to. Gore Vidal, David tries too hard to play our heartstrings. Something that Christmas Hallmark movie does quite well. Ended up feeling that nothing for Ruby and her family. I like the family a lot. Moffat would have written it better, almost certainly. That I agree with you.
Yeah, I think he would have. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I've learned to appreciate Moffat's writing a lot more through Russell Lee Davies. Andy 8 is here. How you doing, Andy 8? I thought it was a lot better than I ever would have expected. Yes. Quite like Gatwa, and it would. And when I hear that he and everyone else were saying the music was loud, was playing. Well, yeah, that was true. In this club scene, they did that. Lucy Meow is here. As is TARDIS time. He's saying that all young people are not weirdos. We know you're here, mate. You're here. That was a good time. Jason is here. Hey, Jason. For starters, William Hartnell, not any other Doctor presented as gay. Yeah, again, I could look at it and say, well, he's not actively giving a reach round to anyone. Conrad is surprised that Judith embraces the concept of reincarnation. Oh, yes, we do. I think we do anyway. There is some disagreement. Philip Bogart said hello to you. Oh man, I wasn't as close as I thought. My God, real super doctor is here. Just like JNT got comedians in roles, but JNT did not do this to the fans like Rusty Davis has. Yeah, that's a fair point. Glenn Piper is here. I don't know how to. I don't know how to too early to judge. I didn't mind it. Timeless Child stuff confirmed. I'd say for me it wasn't right. I don't know how. Like with this bi-regeneration thing, it could have been 500 years since the Timeless Child. So he said he heard about it recently. Maybe referring to a different adventure. It doesn't really matter. Disclaimer is here. He said he had unleashed that representation should be the norm. Yeah, he's crazy and wrong. Right? I agree with you. Yeah, that's crazy and wrong. Fly. Hello, hello to you. Fine. Still whizzing through the chat. Sadago 24 said hello to you. Hopefully I haven't missed anyone. Getting there. Right. Oh man, I'm not. Still got 20 minutes to go. Paul Taylor said hello to you. Raymond Williams is here. Too many Russell Davies apologists. You have to bend your reality to fit theirs. Well, that's what they're doing, right? I agree. I'm just saying, on the strength of this episode, I found it. To me, it felt like Doctor Who. A different take on Doctor Who. It felt like Doctor Who in the same way that Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, the first season, felt like Star Trek. Second season was garbage, right? But it felt like Star Trek: Strange New Worlds felt like came from the same world as Star Trek.
Do you reckon that's going to happen with this one then? That you're going to like, and then second season can be
blink
shit.
And you get a Picard season 3, which was perfect, right? Yeah, you never know. Paranormal ITC Connections doesn't like it. It says R.I.P. Doctor Who. Well, vive la difference, baby. Vive la difference.
Yeah. Do you want to see this Christmas present I got today?
I do want to see the Christmas present you got today.
Which I'll show you, right? Hold on a sec, matey.
Is it better than the Rock'em Sock'em Robots? Because
no. Hold on. Right, so I got this today, and I was like, "Oh God, this is great."
Yeah.
And then I turned it round.
Is Jodie on the back?
No, these two on the back. I was like, I was like, no.
This is what happens when Norm is buy Doctor Who presents for you.
Yeah, no, so I'm going to wear it obviously, but I'm grateful for it. But it just made me laugh when I turned it around. I was like, oh no,
yeah. Maybe I can dye those out. The logo looks good.
Fine.
Fine. With that, I'm going to wrap up. It's 11:20 for me. I want to go to bed.
Oh wow. Yeah. Merry Christmas, pal.
Do you have anything to plug? You're working on
I'm still working on Rebecca. Hopefully it'll finish before the end of this year, and that's all really I can say about it.
2023? You got a week?
No, end of next year. Sorry, man.
End of next year. Well,
yeah. I got a week.
Right.
So hopefully it'll finish by September of next year, because it is tough doing stuff with no money and trying to get
absolutely not for much longer, baby. Not for much longer. I
hope so.
use AI so much. It's crazy how much I use it.
Well, I'm old school. I prefer to do it the old-fashioned way, so that's why I'm doing it. So, but anyway, hopefully people will like it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure people are going to criticize it and not like stuff that I put in there. But you can only do your best. That's all
you
I
can
can
only
say.
do your best.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, I do tend to agree. Fine. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up. I'm Cream Cracker. Merry Christmas, one and all. Back tomorrow for Boxing Day, where we'll do a real deep dive review. Go subscribe to Rebecca Gold and subscribe to me too. Subscribe to my Every Women Desire. Your life will be made better for it, right?
You probably will.
Probably will. Listen. If I become your tyrannical overlord, ain't so bad. Could be worse. Fine. With that, I'm going to hit the end broadcast button. I'm going to hit it again.
Merry Christmas.